Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD by God Oliva, who something just
Come on.
happened. Oh, hold on. Astro the Wonder Dog has made his way into the
Sorry,
scene.
it's like a damn horror movie. We just start the show and I hear
Yeah, you
dog
heard
running
it.
in.
We all could hear it.
Oh, you guys heard it too?
Yeah.
Uh, Hi,
Yeah.
bud. Astro didn't
Yeah.
want me to start the show without him.
Well, Astro knew
Sorry.
that you were recording, and he's kind of the star of the podcast, so he needed to make his presence felt. Thankfully, he didn't go like that one crazy chick did in California in Pasadena with a pickaxe going around banging down the door. What the hell was that?
Bro, you tagged me in that and I watched it like 10 times. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
There was a baby on the other side of that window, and thankfully the baby was okay. But like that video is insane, man. I guess the baby's grandma saved her, but the woman was just trying to break, like they were feuding or something. I don't know the whole story. I just saw the clip. So, but
I
yeah,
don't know
that's a
either.
crazy ass story.
It's a real crazy ass story. Like, that's freaky. Have you heard of the man in the window?
No, is that like
Okay.
Secret Window with Johnny Depp?
No, no.
Okay.
So this is a thing that I think it's a video game that like little kids are into, and someone showed my kid this video on the bus, and it's a story about like a mom rabbit and her little kid rabbit, and the mom's putting the kid to bed and reading him a story, and then the villain from the story is real, and he's outside the kid's window, and
Oh
he's
my gosh.
trying to bust into the house, and the thing looks like a guy, like a normal guy, but just spooky. And so the mom rabbit has to hide the baby in the bathtub, and she has to go underneath the sink to hide from okay, long story short, my kid hasn't slept right in 2.5 weeks because he's
Who the
now.
hell showed your kid this story?
I've never wanted a box of third graders ears out worse in my life. It was on the bus.
Oh my gosh.
So now he's like, and he's always been kind of, he's fairly rational, but this is like the first irrational thing he's ever gone through. Right? It's that and losing our first dog, because
Right.
he's like terrified something's going to happen to this guy. So like it scares him, and now this thing is like, it's like his first taste of like mortality, and so like this has messed him up. So basically keep your kid away from other human beings, because they all suck, and eventually they're going to cost you sleep.
Yeah, yeah. So we were watching, I want to say it was Peacock. We were watching something and I didn't have it on the kids version of Peacock. I had it on the regular version. And next thing you know, there's Michael Myers, just like as you open the app and you're scrolling down to try to find something kid friendly, and it's Halloween. It's all these scary monsters as you try to it's like, oh crap. So I had to go to the kids version of it. So to get away from all that stuff. So and then like the Halloween ends commercials are like everywhere. So we have to try to just keep her away from all that stuff because it's stuff way too scary for her, because she has nightmares pretty easily. We would show, I think we showed her, I think it was Hotel Transylvania, the Adam Sandler
Yeah,
like
that
Halloween
scared her.
stuff. Yeah, that scared her.
Uh,
So, but she's only 4 years old. So
oh yeah, that makes
anything
sense.
anything that's like creepy, she gets scared by pretty easily. So we try to protect her from that.
That's the thing with my kid is, he knows his dad writes horror stories, so he thinks he's super brave. And like
Yes.
he's like, we watched Monster Squad and stuff like that, and he loved it. Like he's like, yeah, monsters are the best, and he loves Godzilla and he loves these things. But this story, like the villain is like a dude. So I
Yeah.
think that's what's scaring him more than anything about this, is the fact that this doesn't look like a monster, because we've reconciled that monsters aren't real.
Right.
This looks like a normal guy. So I think that's what's kind of freaking
And
him out more than anything.
And
You
those
know,
types of monsters, normal people coming into your house, are very real. And now he's
correct.
discovering that information. Yeah.
Correct. Whereas for me, I'm like, this is boring. He's not a monster. That's dumb. Whereas
Yeah.
this is legitimately terrifying him. So this has been
Ugh.
a thing. Like I every time I wake up in the middle of the night, I've got a small blonde child with knees in my back. So it's been it's been a rough couple weeks, let me tell you.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Well, let's oh, or is who did your son say was going to play Ethan, is it Ethan
Swerve.
Jericho? He wants
Yeah.
Swerve. Yeah, yeah,
We were
yeah, yeah.
watching because of the stupid man in the window. He couldn't sleep
Right.
last night. And I'm like, damn, Dynamite's on. So it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, well, buddy, you can sit with me because I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I make him stay up late one night because he missed 2 days of school, 3 days of school, so I was gonna make him go Thursday no matter what. I'm like, if you stay, you can stay up watch wrestling with me if you just lay on the couch and maybe you fall asleep. I had these delusions that he would fall asleep like 10 minutes into Dynamite. Yeah, I was way off. He was up. He stayed up for the whole show and then fell asleep shortly after. Now he's asleep, so it did work. It did eventually work. It's best
Yeah.
night's sleep he's had. But yeah, we're watching Dynamite last night, and he goes, "Dad, if they ever make Ethan Jericho, it's the main character, that's the lead character of my Books of Jericho series, into a movie, Swerve could play him." And I looked, and I'm like, "Yeah,
You
that's a
could.
good call,
Yeah.
kid. Like, someone get this kid's ear to Amazon." So like,
Yeah. Let's talk to Amazon. Let's talk to Gravitas Ventures. Let's open up the purse strings a little bit. And
I can't be bought.
Gravitas has a new movie with Lionsgate called Inhabitant or The Inhabitant that looks kind of gnarly. So we'll
Hey,
see if
hey,
that one ends up being any good.
hey, Gravitas, I got 7 books. They're yours for a relatively low price. I can be
Right.
bought cheap. So yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the show here. We had a fun show. We got a lot to talk about. On BTI, Black Taurus defeated Laredo Kid in an X Division title tournament quarterfinal to advance in the tournament. I'm sure it was a great match. They are really, really messing with our gimmick, but that was talking BTI, folks. Thank you for talking BTI with us.
I'm not going to do it. We have the gimmick is more important than anything at this point. They could have Josh
Yeah.
defending the world title, and it's like, no, it's gimmick.
Man, I literally, I'm going to watch that match. So I'm not
I
going to
will.
not watch it. I will watch that match. So I'll have to fast forward through all the bullshit with Josh Matthews and Gia Miller doing all their non-funny banter that they do on that show to get to that match. But I will watch that match, and I wanted to this week. I just did not have time to do it. But you put, Black Taurus and Laredo Kid. Oh, Laredo Kid, get well soon, by the way. Did you see that he had emergency surgery? I don't want to
I
like
don't know
speculate what it
do
was, but
we know why he had emergency surgery?
I don't know that has been released yet. But they were comparing it to when DJ Z was down in Mexico, and I guess he took it was from Laredo Kid actually. I think he took a 450 splash from Laredo Kid, and then something happened internally, and he had to have emergency surgery. Something similar happened to Laredo Kid over the weekend, and they have not released what exactly happened, but it was in Mexico on Sunday, and he was injured pretty badly, requiring surgery. So he's going to be out a while.
Man, I hope he's okay. Like
Yeah.
we had a thing going early in the show's existence where we talked about how Laredo Kid was so dramatically underutilized just across professional wrestling in general.
Mhm.
And it's a shame, man. He's a really good high flyer, and I'd like to know what happened. I mean, must be bad for them not to
Yeah.
release what happened.
I don't know if they are like strategically not releasing. It may just have not gotten released yet, but it hasn't been. The American press hasn't gotten a hold of it yet. So we'll keep our eyes open and obviously send our get well soon to Laredo Kid.
It looks like
Great talent. One of our favorites. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking at his Instagram post right now. A good luchador framed his face out of it, so respect to that. And unlike Twitter, I don't think Instagram has a translate button. Oh no, there's a translate button. Hang on, let's see if I can get this. I don't know how or where to start with the news. Yesterday, I'd be taken to an ambulance after finishing the fight for the championship in Monterey. Underwent surgery. Yeah, no, nothing. There's a big gash in his stomach, though.
Yeah, they opened him up pretty good.
So I wonder if it's like a gallbladder or something like that. Because I thought it doesn't seem like it's like a shoulder or a knee or anything like that. Because clearly it's in his stomach. So
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
yeah. Well, my first thought was appendectomy, but they said something happened
Appendectomy, I
during
could
the
see.
match. So
Oh, wrestling's tough, man. Like I know.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna make fun of fans for a minute because some of them are so damn soft that it's like I don't want to see people get hurt. Like we want to see people dropped on their heads all the time, but the second one of them actually gets a boo boo, we hate pro clutch. Oh my god, they're really hurt. Like this looks I don't know, man, scary.
Yeah.
This is
Scary,
legitimate.
man, scary. Hey,
Tough
before we
one.
get into the main show, I gotta hit the button.
Breaking news.
was about to say you're having trouble finding the button.
No, it looked like you were about to say something, so I was pausing for a
No,
second.
you said I gotta hit something. So I'm like, oh, and I'm waiting
No,
and waiting.
yeah, I meant to kick the show off with this, but according to PW Insider, I guess this is on PW Insider Elite. Mike Johnson, he is reporting that Chelsea Green is in fact exiting the company. There are rumors that she could be heading back to WWE, but that has not been confirmed yet. But it looks like the mass exodus continues, so that takes us up to 9 people since August have left Impact Wrestling. Chelsea Green looks like she's out. She filmed something over the course of the weekend during Las Vegas that is going to lead to her removal from the company.
It's a quarter of the roster now, basically, is out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Triple H's big thing is bringing back mid-carders. Like, not doing a lot with them, but bringing them back. So, I mean, that's kind of part of the course, I would say. Good for her. It's where she wants to be, I guess. No?
Yeah, I mean this wouldn't be the first time she bailed on Impact to go to WWE right in the middle of a run. So she kind of, but look, she's not under contract, right?
No.
She's not a contracted Impact talent. If WWE comes calling and they're offering you money and a contract, and that check's going to come to the mailbox every week, or hit that account that every single week, why not do it? And Chelsea Green, look, she's got her window of success, of opportunity for success, is getting smaller, right?
Yeah.
It's continuing to get smaller. And I think that since she's been in Impact these last 2 years, she's actually grown a lot as a performer.
For sure.
Really
Yeah.
And they have really gotten something out of her. And I am disappointed because I'm like, you know what? There's a lot for her to do in the company, but WWE comes calling, you got to get paid. You got to make that money. And, good for her, good opportunity, and I hope it works out well for her.
Look, here's the thing. If you ever really want to get pushed in Impact as a top talent, make good money in Impact, the key is to be fired by WWE again. So there's good news for her. If it doesn't work, she can come right back here and make even more next time.
Yeah. Her independent rate just went up a little bit by going back to WWE.
So, I mean, honestly, good for her. I don't think Cardona is going to go. I think that's just part of the gimmick he's doing right now. I would be surprised unless he just wants to relax and not work hard anymore. Because he is a grinder on the indies. If he just decides, you know what, I just want to make money and hang out and play with my toys, then I could see him going back. But he's actually in kind of the run of his career right now. So
yeah,
I would be surprised. But again, priority. Everyone's got priorities, man. Where's your priorities at?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Cardona. Hell, I half expect it to happen. It would not shock me at all to see him return in the Royal Rumble. But with that said, with WWE and AEW's subsidized junior promotion, Ring of Honor, they're signing Ring of Honor. Yeah, they're signing up all these people. Matt Cardona, who is already one of the top independent talents out there, becomes the top. Right, he is the guy on the independents making all the money. Bandito, which we'll talk about, looks like he's off the books. So he's going to be the guy that's going around to all the independents. It's going to be Matt Cardona. It's going to be Speedball Bailey, and basically a lot of guys that are in Impact that are kind of leading the charge on the independents right now. So if he doesn't go, he's in a really good spot to make a lot of money.
Because he's the guy.
Boss.
Who else?
He is.
Remember back in 2019 when the not a purge, the opposite of a purge, where everybody was getting gobbled up left and right, and it left this dearth on the indies. It really allowed like GCW's garbage stuff to really come to the forefront because everybody else was gone. That's when we got like Warhorse and stuff like that got really successful in the indies, and then everybody kind of figured out, oh, he's really not that good. You know,
you said Warhorse with such disdain, and I just had to laugh.
I didn't mean to, but it's fun. But it was. You remember like 2019?
Yes.
Like the most over indie guy, and then he got put on AEW against Cody, who has good matches with everybody. Really got exposed. Like he was the only guy from that Cody challenge who didn't get a job with AEW.
Yeah,
right.
That says a lot about you. Real quick, Warhorse story. I've never met the man, but I interacted with him on social media one time just because he was building his own gym during the pandemic, and he actually found some. He put it on social media that he actually found some steel barbell plates, 45-pound barbell plates, and then he painted them all black, and then painted the inside in Road Warrior colors, and actually had some of them had the animal, some of them had the hawk logo, and they were all Road Warrior barbell plates, and I thought that was so cool.
That
And
is cool. That's really cool.
It is. And he actually sent me like a step-by-step instruction on how to do that.
Mike, I
if
can't
I wanted
bury
to
a guy
do
if
that.
he's cool. Like it ruins the gimmick if he's like, oh, this is actually a really good guy. You should feel guilty for making a joke. Like,
Yeah, but he plays a heavy metal fan who's like 5'8", 175 pounds. That's like a badass, but he is anything but. But he was a meme. He's a meme wrestler, right? He's Danhausen. He was, you know what I mean? So
Danhausen got a contract.
Dan hasn't got a contract, but I think that if they did the Cody, this is just a big if, and this could be maybe a brace for debate topic later on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/fightgamemedia because JD and I are going to do all debate topics all the time. But if they had brought in Danhausen and that Cody challenge and asked him to have a good match instead of just be entertaining on the outside, he would not have likely have gotten a contract if he was put in that position. Instead, they utilize him as, for what he is, which is just a comedy guy. He's the fucking boogeyman. You just keep him on the outside of the ring. You don't let him do anything.
He's really good at being the meme wrestler. Like
there's
nobody in professional wrestling that understands his role better than Danhausen. I got a 6-year-old that loves Danhausen. He can't tell you, he's never seen a match, but he looks at the shtick and he just goes, "Oh, I like this guy." Like this dude, he's a walking Simpsons character.
If I were 5 years old and I saw Danhausen on TV, he would be like one of my favorites. Like
that's what it is.
That's what it is. He's got it when he feels a kid.
Yeah, when he first showed up, Andy had to get a Danhausen shirt. Don't fit him. Had to buy it. $30 at the freaking show. Rip off. This is his birthday. What are you gonna do? Like, but he had to have it. Had to have a Danhausen shirt. I mean, that dude gets it. That dude's like he's okay. He is at the same time a meme wrestler, and yet he's like a throwback to dudes from the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. Who know what they are, understand their value, and just care about making money. I respect Danhausen.
Oh yeah, dude's getting paid. I'm never gonna be mad at that. He's getting paid. He's protecting his body. He gets paid decent money for doing very little. I always will respect that. That is my dream and my goal in life. But the goal of this show is to review Impact. So we were going to get to that.
You got to get to that.
Main show started where former Impact Tag Team Champions, the Kingdom, confronted Scott D'Amore and threatened legal action after last week's title loss to Heath and Rhino and subsequent beatdown from PCO. They said it was an unsafe working environment. And Scott D'Amore said, well, hey, guys, look, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry Maria is hurt. I'm sorry Vince is in the hospital. But you never have to worry about that again. They all shook hands. He said, you never have to worry about that again because you're fired. Now get out. And I fucking loved it. I loved the whole – I popped so big. I was like, where are they going to go with this? How are they going to do this? And he just fired their asses, and I thought it was great.
They'll be okay.
Yeah. I actually posted on Twitter, like, oh no, they got fired and sent to AEW where they're going to make more money and be seen by more people.
Jacksonville State, I believe Tommy Dreamer referred to it.
Yeah. They're going to be okay, guys. Don't worry. They'll land on their feet.
The unsafe work environment, that's a Shawn Michaels, right?
Yeah.
That's Shawn Michaels, the Montreal thing, right? Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart's first fight back in I think it was early 97. Bret pulled out a chunk of Shawn's hair and Shawn said, I can't work here. This is an unsafe working environment. This is around the smile loss and all that. So that's a deep cut for wrestling fans.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good segment. Really dug it.
It was fun.
And then we go to our first match. It's Trey Miguel defeating former AEW star, and now I guess he's an Impact star going forward. We're going to see here over the next few weeks something happen at the tapings that's going to lead us to Alan Angels being a part of this company going forward. He looks like he's going to stick around a long time, so that's good because I think that this is a guy that they can actually work with and maybe get behind a little bit. But Trey Miguel beats him here, and I thought this was a really good match. I really enjoyed this match. It's the best Alan Angels match in Impact that I've seen.
I agree.
Since he's been back.
I agree. I think Alan Angels has something. I think he was really smart. I think I said it before on the show. I thought he was really smart not re-signing with AEW. I think that he's a guy who's going to get better by grinding, right? I think too many people today want that contract and they can just sit around and do nothing and just collect money, which again, worker mentality. I respect it. but I don't think you're going to get good. I think Alan Angels is going to get good by being here in Impact and working with Trey Miguel. And he's shown a little bit of personality on his Twitter. I'd like to see it come through on the show a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But I really like the match. I thought it was good.
Do you think he's a legit bald guy, or is he just like just shaving his head?
He's 23.
Yeah.
I hope he's choosing to, because that's rough to go bald that young.
Yeah, yeah. And if so, fuck him. If you have hair, grow it, baby. Don't be like me. Like I don't have it, so I got to shave my stupid head. He kind of looks like Chris Daughtry. You remember that guy?
Yeah, he does look like Chris Daughtry.
Yeah, he's got the whole like the well kept, like freshly groomed facial
Beard.
hair.
Yeah, with the shaved head. Chris Daughtry, like 15 years ago, Chris Daughtry was going to be like the next big rock star. It didn't happen.
Yeah, no, didn't happen. He had like some hits, but it was like like soft rock like hits, but
like power ballady kind of stuff. Like it was like
it
was a little. There'll never be nostalgia for power ballads. Like there just isn't. It would have happened already. And like, yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, I'm sure he's still touring finer, event centers and parades and carnivals across this great land. County fairs.
Sure he is. Yep, you can hear his music in elevators in Vegas if you go there. So
you said his music or music versions of his music?
Muzak, probably.
Muzak, okay. Just curious.
Yeah, Trey Miguel will face the winner of next week's Mike Bailey versus Kenny King match. Chris Bay and Ace Austin went looking for Bully Ray and found him and Tommy Dreamer. Austin thinks Bully Ray jumped him in the locker room last week, which took him out of their tag team match. Bully Ray said it was probably Moose. Then when Bay advanced, Dreamer told him to get back, which Bay didn't like, and this led to a challenge for a match later in the evening. So they're still working this whole Bully Ray Tommy Dreamer thing, thinking that they're doing a whodunit. And it's a classic story, a whodunit. It's a Clue type of deal. I get the feeling some security cam footage is going to show up eventually to reveal who exactly did it, and I don't think it's going to be Bully or Moose.
Why do we care? When I say this, I don't mean as why do we care Bully Racer, because I've already made that statement. But like, this is pro wrestling. People get jumped all the time. Why is everybody so offended that Bully Ray might have jumped someone? This happens every week in every pro wrestling show in America. I don't understand why everyone's like, well, you can't trust Bubba. Like Kale thing that Josh later in the show is like, "Oh, you can't trust him." No shit, he's going to try to beat you for your title. Of course, you shouldn't trust him. I don't understand the psychology behind this angle and why Bully's like so offended that people don't trust him.
That's the part that I don't get. Bully seems to be flabbergasted that people don't trust him. But I gotta disagree with you on one point.
Please,
if you're Chris Bay and Ace Austin, don't you want to know who did it so you could exact revenge? Like from their point of view. They're like, and they're thinking it's Bully, and they're on a fact-finding mission. And so they're trying to get to that fact. Now, I get it's pro wrestling. This happens everywhere, but still, everywhere it happens, you want to find out who did it and then beat their ass.
Mike, it's pro wrestling. I want punch first, ask questions later. They should be coming in with chairs and chains, assuming Bubba did it, and start hitting them. Instead of being like, I know, like, this isn't Knives Out. Like, I don't want to see like a detective. Although it'd be great if Swinger was actually doing that. Now that I'm thinking about it. If we had like Swinger as a detective trying to get, it's the only way this storyline works to me, as opposed to being the centerpiece of the show, which I hate.
Yeah, they should have went Ace Steel and just took a bite out of somebody, or went Young Bucks, kicked the door open and smacked the fucking hell out of a dog and broke his teeth. They should have just stood with what the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega did, abusing animals.
Every time someone brings up the dog, I just roll my eyes. Remember, Kenny was only there to save the dog. And it's just, the dog lost his teeth. So Kenny either you're full of shit or failed to do that and the dog lost all his teeth. I don't know, man. Someday we're going to get the real version of what happened there, and it's going to be it's going to be entertaining. But until then, I'm just going to laugh at all this stupid shit.
Giselle Shaw was beaming with vexed over their efforts 2 weeks ago over the Death Dolls. Tonight, they really want to say goodbye to Mickie James, and they want to send her packing to retirement with a loss. So in this trios match, if Mickie James's team loses, then Mickie James has to retire. That's a new wrinkle to this angle, because even if she loses in a tag team match, she has to retire. So that's interesting. I was interested in the match before. I think that's a little bit more interesting.
Does she have to? Look what Muda's doing. Muda said he was going to retire and then went, maybe no.
He's still on the books to retire. He hasn't said he's not going to yet, but it could happen. We'll see. More to come on that. There could actually be some pretty big news coming out about Muda. We'll see what happens though. Rochelle Steele defeated Tasha Steele. No, Shield. Rochelle Shield. Rochelle Shield. Does she sell seashores by the seashore?
By the seashore.
Okay.
Peter Piper,
Anyways.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but Steele's beat her ass. Laid her out, said she sucks, and then told Evans to come in and beat her up. So Evans did, and got DQ'd. And then so that was that. She said she basically beat her ass and said, "Look, this is beneath me," and then brought in Savannah Evans to finish the job. So.
Honestly, one of my favorite plays on the squash trope I've seen in a long time. I thought this made for good wrestling TV for like the 2 minutes that it was on my screen. So kudos to everyone involved, including Rochelle Shield.
I really enjoyed it. I think Tasha Steele is more effective in this kind of role and not having like long matches. I don't think that she's very effective that way, but she was great here.
Mike, she should be a manager.
So she's, like I said about Chelsea, I think Tasha's window of opportunity to be successful as a pro wrestler is closing in. I think she has a particular skill set, and it's talking.
Verbal.
And it's verbal. Okay. And it's not to say that she's a bad wrestler. I just don't think that she's ever going to be a great wrestler.
Right.
So I like what she's doing right now, but I think eventually she can make a lot of money being a heel manager for a Savannah Evans who seems to have a lot of potential. But does she need to go there now? No, but I would say here in the next couple of years, I could absolutely see her transitioning into that role and doing commentary. I think that she would be good at that too. Not if she's not in full character all the time on commentary and actually, goes more sports based, but keeps some of her humor. I think she would do a great job there.
I agree. I truly believe that her future is something with a microphone. Like look at what do we call Aiden English again in this company? Matt Raywalt. I think that guy reinvented himself when he figured out, you know what, I'm just better at talking to people. I think that I think Tasha will eventually figure that out. She's got talent, man. She's got talent.
She does. And she's got her character figured out, and I really enjoy her work. I really enjoy her work. She's another person that's grown a lot since she's been an Impact. And she came in right as the pandemic started. She's been here kicking ass. So good for her.
That's what Impact can do, I think, more than any other companies. You can come here because the roster is small and because they're pretty loyal to you. If you stick with them for a while, or if you've been in WWE, that you will get an opportunity to shine. And I think she's a great example of how much a performer can improve if just, given opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, the Motor City Machine Guns congratulated Heath and Rhino on winning the tag titles. They reminded them of their commitment of a title shot, which Heath was down with. He suggested they go to management, and they did. So then after the commercial break, Cardona and Myers were also waiting for management. And as they got into a shoving match about who would get the shot, DeMoran busted out and said it would be Alex Shelley versus Cardona tonight. So got some stuff going on there. And next we go to Chris Bay. He defeated Tommy Dreamer. I like that Chris Bay won, so I'm not going to complain. A lot of the focus was on the Bully Ray stuff. At one point, Moose came down and tripped Chris Bay. Chris Bay thought that it was Bully that did it. Almost led to almost led to a pin, but then eventually Chris Bay hit the art of finesse on Tommy Dreamer.
I hate it. I hate everything about this storyline. I hate it. Yeah,
I thought the match was fine. So
it was fine. Chris Bay's a really good wrestler. I don't want to say carried Tommy to a good match, but Tommy's in-ring appearances should be few and far between, not in consecutive weeks.
Yeah. Impact Plus flashback was a Slammiversary 10 when Bully Ray defended the TNA title against Sting in a weapons match. So there you go. So they're really, really trying to remind the audience that Bully Ray was once somebody. So we'll see.
Long time ago.
Yep. Aussie Open, they're back. They cut a promo saying that they still want a shot at the tag titles and issued an open challenge for next week. That was cool. These guys are good promos, man. I dig these guys. I know they're New Japan talent, so we only get them in for shots here and there, so we might never get behind them, but they're really good.
You know what sucks about Aussie Open is like we're only getting to hear them talk now, and usually they're with Osprey, who's a terrible talker, who does almost all the talking for them, right? Whenever you see the Empire, like I'm like, these guys are great. Like, don't ever give Osprey the microphone; just let them do it.
Yeah, these guys really got it figured out, man. I dig them. Dreamer and Bully Ray they were backstage and they were complaining. Bully Ray was upset that he was flabbergasted that people don't trust him anymore after all the crazy shit that he's ever done.
What? Yeah, this is what I don't get about this. If Bully's character was like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to make good for the guy I used to be. I'm not like Unforgiven, right? You've seen Unforgiven, right, with Clint Eastwood,
dude.
Yeah,
right. I have balls. Of course, I've seen Unforgiven. Give me a break.
One of the greatest westerns of all time, if definitely not the greatest western of his generation, right? That is a story of an old gunslinger who doesn't want to be this violent sociopath badass anymore. And he keeps telling people, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not that guy anymore. And the end of the movie, he guns everybody down. He's like, yeah, I'm still that dude. You know, great movie. I can't say enough good things about it. If that was the storyline here, where Bully's like, I need to make amends for the guy I used to be. And I understand you don't trust me, but I'm different now. Like, instead of being entitled, like he's so entitled, like, you should trust me. Why? Because I have a radio show. Like, it's just, there's character, like, story motivation wise makes no sense to me.
And I think that's what they were going for at first. But we've already gotten to this point now where he's upset that he's not being, but we're in like episode 3 of this, when really he should get, if we go to like episode 10, say if it was an episodic show, right? If it were episode, well, you know what I mean? But if we're like episode 10, right, of the series, and people still don't trust him after all the good he's done, then maybe he has a right to be upset about it. But he's making amends now. And by a couple of weeks in, he's like upset that people haven't forgiven him, that they don't trust him. That doesn't make sense to me. But what you're saying he should be doing, he was doing the last couple of weeks, but he's already jumped he's already jumped levels. He said he's trying to make amends. He's trying to do things right. He's shaking people's hands. He's doing all that stuff.
What has he done to make amends? They just say, hey, I'm here to make amends. What have you done to make amends? Well, it's not like someone jumped Josh and he's out there saving. Like MJF and Moxley was more, but not. It's like they're not driving
at Bound for Glory. At Bound for Glory, he absolutely did do that. Right? He actually came out on Namor and with Josh beat down on Namor. So in his mind, he's doing things right to make amends, but in everybody else's mind, he hasn't done enough yet. And the part is he doesn't see himself for what other people see him as.
Where do we get a bigger audience, on pay-per-view or on the show?
On the show, but the clip is on YouTube, and the clip was on the show of what happened.
Oh, right? We give AEW people shit about that all the time. That if you want the story, you got to go somewhere else and not the actual.
No, they did show but they showed the clip on the show.
It's not like you said. It's only 3 weeks in. Like that's not enough. Yes. Like you said, we're jumping layers. You need to when you make amends, you need to like do more than this one time I wasn't a piece of shit. Now you guys all should like think I'm great, because that's like what it is. Like he hasn't done enough to earn this particular roster's respect yet, right? Or trust. Like again, it's entitled. Like it feels like this character feels entitled to it, which makes him come off like a bigger heel.
Well, which I think that's where we're heading to. I think he's going to become a bigger heel.
Probably.
I'm not saying that this whole thing's working for the audience, but I do see that that's where this is going. Like I just don't see Bully.
I don't think it is
being
actually
a baby face. You think he's going to stay baby?
I don't know if he's going to stay baby. I mean, I could see this being those WWE. Well, you people didn't believe in me, so now I'm going to be bad because you didn't. Yeah. I mean, I could see that being more of it. Like, because you're right. This whodunit, it clearly. Okay, it's like Mystery Stories 101. You point to the one guy, but it clearly can't be the one guy. It's going to be somebody else. It's probably like Juice or something like that doing it, because he's gone.
More on that later. On Patreon. Yeah. More on that. More about Juice Robinson. Next, we go to Matt Cardona. He defeated Alex Shelley. This was a TNA match.
Big time.
Big time. And you know what?
Time.
And I really liked it. I actually really enjoyed the match. A lot of Gaga, outside interference, a lot of near falls. The fans were with it. And the whole time I'm looking at Myers. and I'm like, not Myers. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Cardona. He's like 6'3", 250 pounds. He's shredded. He's got a great look. He's a good worker. Like the guy, like people don't give him credit for being
No, he's better.
actually a good worker.
Mhm.
And he's a great heel. And I'm just like, this guy should have the title.
Been saying it for months.
He really should. I was like, look, I was just like, because I know that like the traditionalist people would be like, why is Cardona? Why the hell is Zack Ryder beating Alex Shelley? But well, newsflash, motherfuckers, like he's actually very good and he's a big star, and I totally get it.
But he's evolved, right? Like
Yes.
he's not he's not Zack Ryder. The Matt Cardona character is a totally different guy than Zack Ryder. Like Matt Cardona is like the broken dreams of Zack Ryder, and that's kind of what I love about it. Right?
Yeah.
The Matt Cardona character clings to his former fame as Zack Ryder, and it's made him like secretly bitter. Like I love the Matt Cardona character. Now, Heath and Rhino are the same dudes they were in the WWE, right? And that's kind of what I hate about it.
Zero evolution whatsoever.
Yeah,
same thing with that dipshit Dango. Same thing.
Yes, exactly. They're lazy. Like they've done and again, Heath's over. Whatever he's doing is working. But as far as like a character goes, there's no difference. Like they're both stuck in 2016, where at least Matt Cardona, like I said, Matt Cardona works his ass off. And I think he's better than what and again, I'll take him, in Motor City Machine Guns all day. That's perfectly fine. I just, I don't know why is he here in Bully Ray's in the main event? I just don't get it.
Well,
I don't.
I'm holding out hope that eventually Cardona is going to be in the main event there, but Impact isn't really his top priority. He's doing a lot of stuff with GCW. He's doing stuff with NWA. He's going for the title there. So that guy's everywhere. So if you're Impact, it's like, if we get behind this guy, we're probably gonna have to pay him a lot of money not to take these other dates, right? Yeah, okay, and to make us his top priority. And I think that he would be worth it.
Is that a better use of funds than Bully Ray?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I get this. I get that this company is kind of where it is right now. And I've had these like epiphanies about business and wrestling companies and stuff like that. I'm okay with Impact being what it is. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I don't like them not put, like you say he's got all these other priorities. Why isn't Impact the top priority? Impact has the biggest reach of any of these companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could be their guy. Like he could be their heel guy. Like it could work, especially because all we do now is push WWE guys. If you watch the commercials, like, yeah, that could be the thing. Like that could be the whole crux of what he is. And like, I just see so much more storyline potential than this knives out knockoff shit we're doing with Bully Ray. I just don't get it.
Man, he's come a long way from the mid Cardona days when we made fun of him every week.
100%. Again, we were hard on him.
180. We've done a complete 180 on him
because he's worked his ass off. Not just to look. He looks great. His work is good, but he built a character, right? He totally changed over the last 18 months. He's totally changed his character, and it's freaking interesting. It's the most interesting guy in the Indies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Next, Josh Alexander was chatting with Rich Swann and Gail Kim. She reminded him that to not trust anyone and to watch his back. Okay. Coincidentally, Steve McIntyre from behind had pounded Alexander.
Foreshadowing.
Frankie Kazarian just happened to be there for the save. Alexander wondered how that could be, and Frankie said that he wants the champ at 100%. Alexander offered up an opportunity to take Aussie Open's open challenge, which Kazarian liked. So there you go. So we got Aussie Open versus Frankie and Josh next week. So, and I'm looking forward to that.
Gonna be a good match. Aussie Open's never gonna win a match on TV, no matter what company they're in. No. They're like, we're the top tag team in the world. Like, yeah, but you guys lose a lot. Like,
fine. Every company they're the strong champions. So the only show they don't lose on is Strong. But
like 20 people, like 20 people watch Strong. Like,
Next we got Joe Hendry. He defeated Raj Singh. Hendry, this was obviously great. So this is from our friend Josiah. It says Hendry already feels very lived in with his character, which is a compliment. The song just hits perfectly. Hendry picked up the win with the standing ovation chokeslam bomb. Do you believe is what he said. And he cut a really funny promo at the beginning of the match too. So I dug everything about this.
It's good. Talk about guys who know what they are. Joe Hendry gets this character. It's his character. He created it, and he's clearly invested in it. I don't know where we go from here, but it mightn't have to go anywhere. Like he might carve a nice little spot for himself as he's a baby face, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a different type of baby face, but I think it can work. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where this character goes over the next few months because I like it. I think it's good. I just where does it go? I don't know. I'm curious. I'm interested.
Yeah, we'll see. Eric Young and Diener were talking to someone off camera about Young's match with Sam McCallum next week, and he hopes that person's eyes would be open next week. So new members are being added to Violent by Design, which we'll find out soon. So, but I'm not going to spoil it. But we do have very interesting members coming up.
I don't know, so don't. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't read the spoilers.
Oh, okay, good. A blonde Gia Miller talked to Eddie Edwards about the standing of Honor No More after last week. He said it was no more with nothing left to salvage. She asked about Alicia, and he said he wanted to keep it private, later saying he would have done everything the same over the last year given how it ended up. He said the poison pill was PCO, and he's going to pay for what he's done. The pastor left off the fact that Eddie Edwards said that PCO is nothing but a bitch. But of course, Josiah would not write that on there. He's got too much dignity, unlike us. Yeah,
who have none.
Yeah.
First of all, Gia with the blonde hair and in the red dress. Damn, like
no comment from me. No comment.
Wow. Like I remember I saw Gia at the AAW show last year, and I didn't recognize her because we were all wearing masks. But she's very pretty woman, and like this new look is it's a thing, man. Big fan. She I think did a good job too. Like this really isn't like I think she's getting way more comfortable in the interview role, and I think this was like her really elevating her game, right? Like this felt like something they have like Renee Paquette do, like both in WWE and now in AEW, and I think that Gia actually did a really good job. I really do. I think it's a good segment.
She's great. She came in during the pandemic, right? She was just happened to be Ace Austin's girlfriend who had a little bit of wrestling training, and they had no backstage announcers, so they just she had no experience and she just did it. And so she basically was taught from scratch in this company since the beginning of the pandemic, earned herself a contract, and basically has a role here for a long time. They've really gotten behind her in this role, and she's gotten a lot better, and she's great now. It was kind of a struggle early on, right? Which makes sense because she wasn't trained, but she's actually done a great job and really gotten to where eventually she might get looks from some of the bigger companies if they wanted to do that. I think she's good enough.
Wouldn't surprise me if either company came calling, to be honest with you, because her work's been good over the last year. It's been good. Like she's done a good job. Like she's not asked to do a lot, but I really felt like in this segment in particular, like I don't want to say she stole the show from Edwards because like he did a good job. They're pushing a storyline, but I was really more impressed with her being able to really carry it. Like she really impressed me in this one. I really think that I think Impact could have something. I would like them to see her do more of these like more sit down a little bit more serious interview segments. Again, it was good. It was really good. She should there's no appearance like on the job experience.
And Eddie Edwards sticking as a heel, which I like. I dig that. I like that he's
heels. We need heels.
Yeah. Yep. And he's a good one, I think.
Great heel.
Next we go to the main event. It's Knockout champion Jordynne Grace, Mickie James, and Taylor Wilde defeating Vexed and Giselle Shaw. If Mickie James's team lost, then James would have to retire. I thought this was a pretty good match. At one point, there was a clunky spot where Chelsea tried to do a blockbuster, Deonna had Mickie up for a power bomb, and then Chelsea was doing a blockbuster. It didn't work, but it was kind of clunky. But other than that, I thought this match was fine. Fans are into it. Lots of excitement. Lots of cool stuff happened. And a good way to close the show.
I didn't like the end. I thought Chelsea's best stuff too is her personality stuff. She's never going to be this. She's not a great athlete. Like the in-ring stuff's never going to be like the smoothest for her. She's not Deonna, who is a good athlete, or Mickie, who's a good athlete. But she's got a role. She does a good job. I did not like the finish. Why did Giselle Shaw go out and grab? Why did Giselle Shaw go out the ring and hold the title up and they were kicking the shit out of them? Like they tossed both the baby faces out. They had Mickie dead to rights, and Giselle Shaw felt the need to leave the ring to grab the belt, to stand there with it, to let Jordynne tackle her from behind. No, it was like one of these things we talk about in writing where the plot dictates you have to do something. so you do it, even if it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I didn't like that part of it because that was what led to the finish, and it made no sense.
You know,
It
and
made no sense
I
to
think
me.
I think I just missed that part. I was like, it did. I was like, why is she holding the title? Okay, and the next thing you know, we go to the finish. So it just, maybe I looked at my phone or something. I don't know. I do
Hey, I'm
remember
guilty of
that
that in
part
the
though.
show.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I just the right result, of course. You know, I like Taylor. You know, she looked like she's getting a little bit more comfortable again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end, the sequence that led to the finish, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't really work. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't know, Lance. You're supposed to be in there making things make sense. That's what you claim to do all the time. You're there. You're here to make things make sense. You're going to call things out when they don't make sense. And one of your top heels who delivers just this absolutely beautiful that spin kick that Kofi Kingston calls the Trouble in Paradise. I'm not sure what she calls it. It was Giselle. It was absolutely gorgeous. Like, man, that was awesome. And then she just walks out of the ring and grabs the belt for just reasons. Lance, what's the reason for that, dude?
Maybe we'll find out next week on Impact.
Probably not.
As we figure out why. I mean, Chelsea got pinned, so we all kind of know where this is leading. So Vexed is probably no more, and there's now an issue because Giselle Shaw was too focused on the title belt and not focused on her team. Maybe that's where they're going.
That's stupid, but okay, probably right.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the recap portion of the show. We're going to head over to Patreon and keep the conversation going. What's that?
We like everybody listening to the show to please go on to Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Drop us a 5-star Frog Splash, because I'm going to steal that from everybody else does it. Review, because quite frankly, we deserve it and we need it. Help us work the algorithm. This is a wrestling podcast. We got to work things. We need to work our algorithm. So if you entertained by Mike and I's rambling musings, please hit us up with 5 stars. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you can do that. Just iTunes or Spotify, just give us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. But when you do it, you can actually put comments in there. And just so our boss knows the reason, because we don't have our own feed. We're part of just the Fight Game Media feed. So when you go and you hit that 5-star review, feel free to go in the comment section and say, I am here because Mike and JD are the best fucking podcasts on the network. That feel free to say that.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Just go ahead and say, just put us over. Say Mike is very handsome. JD not as much as Mike, but still handsome.
Fair.
We love their voices, and we like it when they make fun of Impact and make fun of everybody. So go ahead and say that you like us. You were sent there by us, and then maybe the boss Garrett will kick us some cheddar down the road. Maybe
we'll kick you a free Maybe we'll kick you a free BFI t-shirt.
Hey, yes. Screenshot it. Let us know, and then maybe we'll kick one of those your way.
Because we're scumbags like that. We'll grease the wheels to get what we want, baby.
I am not above buying your love.
Me neither.
Not one bit. All right, guys.
Our heels.
Head over to Patreon. We're going to keep the conversation going. We got a couple of really quick news stuff, and then we're going to get into some we'll do Brace for Debate first. So we'll do some Brace for Debate topics, and then we got a couple of news tidbits to talk about, and we'll call it home. So head over to patreon.com/fightgamemedia and join the conversation over there. Patreon, stick around.